Vixen episode 3. Now, it took me forever to finally sit down and get the chance to see this because every time I tried to watch it, the internet was like, no. So, I ultimately resorted to downloading the CW Seed app so I could actually watch it on my phone. And I just finished the episode, and it was definitely my favorite one so far. I think the best part of the episode is that going from the last one where it's like, okay, things are really weird and stuff. I have this necklace. I beat up those thugs. This episode, it was just like, alright, I know this happened. I'm just going to practice it. And she didn't take like the leap of faith at the end, but that was fine. I mean, she knew what was happening. She was in complete control. You know, she lifts up the table. I like the jokes they had with her foster dad, where he's like, especially when she walked up like the spider, which I thought was my favorite one because I hadn't seen exactly the range on what Vixen could do. Like, I knew it was like animals and stuff, but I wasn't sure if it would be like, if it counted like arachnids and things like that. So I thought that was actually really interesting because I'd never seen like a bug or an arachnid, which technically are different. Um, so it was kind of cool to see that bit of range because it was typically it's like cheetah or jaguar, bird, elephant, gorilla, and that's really it because it's like super strength and super speed is typically what you use in a battle. So it was cool to see at least that little bit of range. Like, oh, that's something I never actually knew she could do. And it went to a much smaller level than, oh, here's her using super strength, the strength of an elephant. And it's like, here's her just walking up a wall because she used the abilities of a spider. So I really did love that because it was something I'd never seen before because I don't really know her character too well. And like I said, her father saying like, I really need to start drinking right now. I thought that was a pretty funny line. But in this episode, we also got Cisco, we got Flash, and we got Arrow. And that was pretty cool. And this episode is leading into the opening of the first episode, so we're going to get to see the chase. Hopefully we see other portions and they don't show us the same footage again, which is really typical in a normal show, but since this is only like 4.5 to 5 minute long episodes, I'm hoping they kind of just skip over that, or maybe they show like the very beginning right after they leave the house, and then maybe show like the first scene of the chase, and then it skips over all that stuff, and then it just kind of ends, and we get to see exactly what happened. So I'm glad it's catching up and everything. That was pretty nice. We got to hear all the voices from the guys because they all voice the characters they do in the live action. So same actors and everything. That was pretty cool. Grant Gustin, the animation they did for that Flash, I feel like it doesn't even remotely look like Grant Gustin to me. So I was like, that kind of sucks. I wish it looked a bit more like him. Like, it just didn't look like him at all to me. Like, the hair was like the closest thing, and even that I was like, meh. But that was like a minor little gripe, but I still enjoy getting to hear their voices and everything. And it was pretty cool. It was, of course, there's not too much to talk about, but definitely my favorite one so far. The next one, like I said, since we technically got to see like 2 minutes of the chase anyway from the first episode, I wouldn't mind if they skipped over that just to give us more story details to see, just where they're going to be taking this thing. Because if I remember right, we do only have 2 more episodes because I believe it's meant to be 5 little pieces, or like 6 5-minute episodes. So I guess we have 4, 5, and 6. So we're halfway through just with this episode alone. So I do hope they save those 2 little minutes so that we can actually see just more development in the story as far as how they plan on taking this character on. If she does, pick up speed and, gain a lot of popularity, and what they plan on doing as far as transitioning her into live action. So, I'd be totally fine if they completely skipped over any of the chasing. I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but like I said, they spent pretty much the first half of the first episode on the cool action scene. So, I'm totally fine with them just completely skipping it in the next episode. I doubt they'll do that. I'm sure they'll show at least a little bit of a chase and then, end it. But I wouldn't mind if it completely skipped to the ending. I can't remember exactly what happened in the first episode. I believe that was when she took the sort of leap of faith as the bird. Or maybe that was kind of early on in their chase. So we might get to actually see her do that for the first time, where she thinks, I know they're heroes, but they're coming after me. And we might get to see her take that first leap of faith. If they put that in the chase for the next episode, I completely would not mind that. That would be really cool because that was the thing she was scared to do. She knows she can lift up a table. She knows she walked up a wall, but she was still too scared to take that final leap and basically glide down, and she would have been totally fine. But if we got to see her push to that extreme and she realizes there are no limits, like if I, I'm not, they still haven't really explained, and they probably won't since we only have such small episodes, whether or not they're doing it where it's just she thinks of an animal and that's how it is, which I'm assuming that would have to be the case. But, I don't know. We'll just have to kind of wait and see exactly if they're doing it pretty much based on the comics, which I'm sure they are. So they haven't just said it, but I have to assume, like, it wasn't just random, like, spider, and so now you can walk up the wall or something. So I'm excited for it. Definitely enjoyed this episode. Like I said, it was my favorite so far. We still don't technically know whether or not that was Queen Bee in the last episode. I'm still sure it is. But we still have Malcolm and Queen Bee with their introduction from the last episode. And I guess we'll see what happens. Like I said, we only have 3 more. So it's like 5, like 10, 15 minutes basically left. So still a bit of content, but it's definitely not just going to wrap up. It's going to end on a cliffhanger. And that's what I'm curious about. Like, I'm not sure if they're gonna do another, episode, I guess, since it's 30 minutes. But whatever they're doing, I'm assuming that it's gonna be really quick. And it's like, once we get that last episode, that's when we're gonna hear whatever their final decision is as to whether or not they're gonna keep this going either 2D or put her into a live action setting between Flash, Arrow, as well as Heroes of Tomorrow and stuff like that. So we'll see. We're halfway through, unfortunately, but I enjoyed it. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and of course, there's not really a big question I can ask like I normally do in my reviews, but I do want to know what you guys think. Since we're at the halfway mark, what do you guys want to see for these next 3 episodes? Because that's pretty much it. We only have 3 more. I don't know how much content they can really put in there, but I want to know what you guys want to see and what your guesses are as far as what the big sort of ending is going to be for this, since we really do only have about 15 minutes left of content. What you guys expect to see as far as the ending with who I'm just going to assume that it's Queen Bee. Like, I don't think it could be anybody else, honestly. I could be wrong, and I mentioned that before, but I'm pretty sure it's Queen Bee. And she could be controlling Malcolm, now that I think about it. I didn't mention that last week, but that's kind of her ability, is to control guys. I didn't think that maybe that's what she did to begin with. But she could also just be tricking him, because I know Malcolm, based on Young Justice, is a good guy. But either way, I want to know what you guys want to see and what you thought about this episode. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.